Welcome, dear brothers and sisters, to yet another talk. The title of this message is God Can Do the Impossible. Our God is a God of the impossible. And numerous places in the Bible we see people claiming about God, the people, the disciples, the followers, his prophets, his messengers have all come out with this saying that nothing is impossible for God. Now we see in the Gospel of Luke chapter 1 verses 37, the angel Gabriel says, nothing will be impossible for God. And Jesus in another place, Luke 18:27, he says, what is impossible for man is possible for God. So, dear brothers and sisters, there is no sickness that God cannot heal. There is no problem in this world that God cannot fix. There is no problem in your life, in my life, that God cannot pull you out or pull me out. So everything is possible with God, and nothing is impossible with God. So I have seen that even reading the Bible, in so many places we see how God has delivered his people from impossible situations. And in my own life, dear brothers and sisters, I have seen how God has delivered me, pulled me out of some impossible situations when I thought everything was over, times when I thought there is no point moving forward because everything is over. I have tried what I could do, but once again, God is full of surprises. God is a last minute God, and he will always and eventually he will pull us out of a problem. That is what it has taught me. Life has taught me over these years, serving God. That is why I so joyfully serve him. I so willingly serve him. I have so much desire to serve him. It is because I see the working of my God in my life. He has done such amazing things in my life. He has done such impossible things in my life. So I am feeling honored, and I feel proud to stand before you all and to speak about this wondrous and marvelous God, this all-powerful God and almighty God. In the Gospel, in the book of Isaiah, chapter 41, verses 18, here God is speaking about himself through the prophet Isaiah. The God is saying, telling us, I will open rivers on the bare heights. I will open rivers on the bare heights and fountains in the midst of the valleys. I will make the wilderness a pool of water and dry land springs of water. So I will open rivers on the bare heights and fountains in the midst of valleys. I will make a wilderness a pool of water and the dry land springs of water. So miraculous things God is able to achieve. Miraculous things God is able to do with us when we are willing to trust him and wait it out. So the key, dear brothers and sisters, is to trust him, not to fear, and to be patient with him. Whatever you are going through, and if it is an impossible situation, you have tried your very best, you have tried everything you know, and there is nothing, no help that seems to be coming from anywhere in this world, then dear brothers and sisters, God has a solution for you. God still has a solution for you. He will reveal the solution in its right time. Trust in him and wait on him. Do not give up. So this is a message I may be telling somebody. Do not give up, but trust and give everything in his hands, and he will pull you out and he will pull you through. So number one, what God does is he tries to use ordinary means in our lives. In every situation, maybe we are not looking carefully, but there is some way out. There is never a dead end in our life. No matter how grave the situation is, how impossible the situation is, there is probably some way out somewhere which maybe you are not willing to look at, or you're not looking at, or it is hidden from you. God will use those solutions, those ways first, before he can come in with a supernatural solution. So if this is what your problem is, I would say look for ordinary means first. Pray and God will show you a way out where you need to look for a solution. If that's not the case in your life, then God will do the unimaginable. God will do the impossible for your life. So again, through experience, what I have learned is that if in case God does not solve a problem for me, when I expect God to solve it for me, there is two reasons. There are two ways that God works in such a situation. Number one, that he may take away the problem, he may take away the storm for me, or he will take me through the storm. So that is also a solution. So sometimes some of these problems are good for our purification. So if that is the case, he will take us through that problem, and the good news is that he is not going to leave us alone. He is going to be with us when we go through that problem. So the first solution is that he will take the problem away from your life. But if that doesn't happen, the second solution is that he will take you through the problem. The problem will be there, but it will not touch you. The problem, you will walk through the problem, but this problem will not touch you. Either way, the word of God says in Isaiah 43, when you read the verse Isaiah 43 from 1 onwards up till 4, it begins with this verse. It says, do not be afraid. When you are faced with a storm in your life, do not be afraid. Then second line verse, it says, I have redeemed you. Do not be afraid, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name, and you are mine. So he is giving that personal touch, the personal relationship. He is reinstating. So he says, I know you, and I know where you are. I know your problem, and I am with you. So that is the assurance he is giving us. So then again it continues. It says, when you pass through the waters, I will be with you. When through the rivers, they shall not overwhelm you. And when you walk through fire, you shall not be burned, and the flame shall not consume you. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. And through the rivers, they shall not overwhelm you. When you walk through fire, you shall not be burned, and the flame shall not consume you. So I have a small testimony here that I wanted to share with you. Years ago, when I applied for my US citizenship. So citizenship, once we get a green card after some years, we are allowed to apply for a citizenship. So when I applied for a citizenship, one of the conditions was that I had to be enrolled for the military drafting as a young person. Here there is a rule in America that every person up to the age of 26 so have to be enrolled in military drafting. Meaning, for example, if there is a major war in the world and everybody is required to go for war, so all men under the age of 26 are required to go and defend the country. So that almost it's a situation that never happens. It's a near impossible situation. We don't usually go for that big scale of a war. So not many people get called, but still you are required to be enlisted in that draft before the age of 26. So when I applied for my citizenship, that was one of the conditions, requirements to become a citizen of the United States, that I had enlisted in my name in that draft. But for some reason I had not. I entered my country, this country, during that time between the age of 21 and 26. So I was into doing a lot of things, and I totally ignored this. So this question came during the time of my citizenship interview, citizenship application. So initially I knew that I was going to be rejected because I did not fulfill this requirement, so they may not give me the citizenship. So I spoke to my counselor. This person was a very mature person, spiritually mature person. He gave me one suggestion. He said, surrender the problem to God. Don't insist on becoming a citizen of this country. If it is the Lord's will, you will become a citizen. If not, so be it. Live with your green card. You can still live here till you die. You won't have a problem. So for a whole month, I was praying. I had filed, and I had an interview coming up in a month, and I was waiting in prayer and see what the Lord had to do. So I surrendered the situation. No matter what happens, either way was fine for me. If I get it, I get it. If not, it's fine. I can still live with my green card. So for a month I prayed, and then I went for the interview, and miraculously enough, nobody asked me about this, even though I had said no to it, that I had not enlisted myself in the draft. I had put a no to it. Still, miraculously, God blinded the people. God blinded the minds of these people, and my citizenship was granted. So that was a miracle that happened, and I've seen miracles, so many such miracles in my life. When you are hit with a situation, when you don't don't have a solution to the problem, you surrender your life to God, you trust in Him, and you wait on Him, then God does the trick. God does the miracle. Again in the book of Isaiah chapter 45 verses 1 and 2, it says, I will go before you and level the mountains. I will break in pieces the bars of iron and cut through the chains. So He is giving us a promise that He will go before us and meet the problem for us. Even before we go and meet the problem, God will go and meet the problem. So whatever, dear brothers and sisters, your life is, maybe you have an interview coming up, maybe you have a test coming up, maybe you have some kind of a project that you need to take up in the future, maybe you've applied for a loan, you're waiting for the results, whatever the case may be. So claim Isaiah 45 2 and 3. So God may go into the future and handle the problem for you. God may go into the future and solve the problem for you. He will meet the problem for you before you even go and meet the problem yourself. So you see in the Old Testament, whenever the people of Israel, they went for a battle, they would always pray, they would always worship God, they would make an offering, they would inquire of the Lord, Lord, shall we go for this battle or not? Shall we go and fight this battle or not? Will you give us victory? So they surrendered themselves. And you see in the life of David, dear brothers and sisters, he won all the battles he fought. Wherever he went, he used to win victory, because he had this attitude to seek the Lord's favor before going for a battle, to seek the Lord's favor, to seek the Lord, inquire the Lord before going or taking up any battle. If the Lord said, no, don't go and fight these people, you will lose, then David did not go for that battle. It was such a standard practice in David's life. If you read especially the book of 1 Chronicles, 2 Chronicles, 1 Samuel, 2 Samuel, 1 Kings and 2 Kings, you see here David's heart, David's mentality was there. So this is exactly as expected out of you and me. You have something coming up, something very special for you, something very important for you in your life. Then sit before God and inquire of the Lord. Be strengthened in the Lord before you meet any situation, be it a job interview, an exam, or something that you applied for, a loan you applied for, or maybe to a new college you applied for. You have plenty of time from now until the date. Prepare in prayer, be in prayer, inquire of the Lord, so the Lord will strengthen you. Sometimes something is not meant for us, so it is going to be a negative answer. So when you are in prayer, God strengthens you to accept that prayer, accept the result of the situation, because He has something better. We may desire something, maybe a particular college we wanted to enroll, and we are seeking a desire is growing within us to join that college, but after some time you get a result that you're not going to be part of that college. They have rejected your application, so you put so much of your hope in that now you are very disappointed, you're heartbroken, and you are wounded. So it happens for everyone from time to time. At some point you face this kind of rejection, heartbroken situation. But in such times, dear brothers and sisters, this is the reason I tell you, I tell myself, I tell everyone, that when you have put your hopes on something, also put your hope in God. Trust in Him, let Him strengthen you, so that let God's will be done for you. In that case, even when there is a negative response, you will take it positively. It will not upset you or affect your emotions. I remember I always tell in my talks, a bird sitting on a branch is not afraid of the branch breaking. Do you get it? A bird sitting on a branch is not afraid of the branch breaking, because anytime a branch breaks, the bird does not fall with the branch. Have you noticed, a bird sitting on a branch, and if suddenly the branch breaks, the bird also falling with the branch? No, it doesn't, because the bird flies away from there. So the bird never trusts the branch that it is sitting on. It trusts its wings always, no matter where it is sitting. It trusts its wings. Even when it is sleeping, birds sleep on a branch, they close their eyes and sleep. But if something happens to the branch, it immediately flies away from there. That should be your attitude and my attitude. You may be sitting on a lot of wealth or money or a status or education, or you may have pinned your hope on some particular college, or you applied for a loan, you're hoping to get it. Don't put your trust in any of these things. These may fail sometimes. You may not get the loan, you may not get into a particular college, you may not get into your dream job, your visa may not get approved, or the results are not favorable to you. But do not put your heart in any of these things. Put your heart in Jesus Christ. So if any of these things happen, you can fly away from there. It will not wound you internally. The reason, dear brothers and sisters, as I mentioned before, if you are a God believing child, you are a believer of God, anything negative in your life means it is a sign from God that it is not meant to be. Maybe you fell in love with a girl, you've been in love with this person, and suddenly this girl walked away from your life one day, or this man walked away from your life one day. This means that this person was not meant for you. God has another special person for you. He will reveal it to you in due time. So, dear brothers and sisters, nothing is impossible with God. No matter what your situation is, it is not something that God cannot solve. God has an answer to all your problems. God has seen an answer to all your problems. God has even walked into the future to fix your problems. So He will be with you. He will not leave you abandoned. Your only thing is to not be scared, do not fear, but trust in Him and wait on Him and wait in prayer. Amen. And praise the Lord. God bless you.